Hello everyone, welcome once again to the vast and ominous Comic Book Vault. I'm Captain Logan and it's time for some new acquisitions. We've got 5 new books from last week, and sorry I'm late on this one. I had a busy weekend and a lot to read. Even though I have the standard 5 books this week, I've also got 2 trade-size books. So I had quite a bit to read and quite a bit to catch up on, but now we're here and ready to talk about stuff that came out last week, so you'll probably see a new acquisitions video not too long after this one. So let's jump right into it with Ultimate Comics All-New Spider-Man issue 16.1. Now, I'm not entirely sure why this had to be a .1 issue, but it is one of those issues that's really important. I would say that maybe the idea, because, you know, .1 is generally supposed to be good jumping on points, although a lot of them haven't necessarily been that, where they've been, you know more issues that are doing something really important for the series more than they are issues that actually catch people up. This one, though, it does do that a little bit. I think that this would be an okay jumping on point if you haven't really been reading the series, just in that it kind of goes back to the origin a little bit, because basically the story here is Betty Brant is trying to find out who the new Spider-Man is, and she stumbles upon the spider that bit Miles Morales and turned him into the new Spider-Man in the first place. And she thinks that she's made a connection between him and his uncle who just died, you know, the Prowler. And she thinks that perhaps they're related, so she's really starting to figure stuff out. The problem, of course, is that Betty Brant is, in this universe, is really just out for herself and just out for money, and what I really like is that the sobering influence in this is J. Jonah Jameson, who says, don't ruin these people's family, and it's a really good read. The cliffhanger at the end really jazzed me. There's a character that's coming back that I just can't wait to see again, and it's fantastic. So yeah, great .1 issue, and definitely pick this one up, and pick it up if you haven't been reading Spider-Man, because now that I'm talking about it, yeah, I think this is an okay jumping on point. So, moving on now to Superman Family Adventures number 6. Of course, I picked these up for my son and my wife. They really like reading these, and I like Art Baltazar. He cracks me up. So, yeah, in this one, we get Metallo, and it's the kind of the origin of Metallo in the wacky Superman Family universe, complete with lots of, you know, surrounding jokes, you know, all a newspaper comic strip like these books always are. I'm really enjoying this book more and more each issue, because it's There is an overarching story that happens in the book, and it's not just a bunch of you know, funny things that happen like Tiny Titans was. So this is still really funny. John Henry Irons shows up in this. There's this really great moment where, I forget who it is, but somebody's like, yeah, you're going to need more than a hammer. You should go, you need a suit. So he ends up using a Lex Luthor suit because he hasn't made his steel suit yet. And that's really funny. One of the coolest things about this issue, believe it or not, is this thing in the middle where it's a picture of not all, but a whole bunch of DC supervillains. And one thing I was surprised by looking at this was, I was like, this looks like a piece of art that was made just pre-New 52. A lot of the characters that are here are not only the pre-New 52 versions, but characters that were really important right before 52. We've got the new Krypton version of Zod here. We've got Reverse Flash on the side there. Riddler's in this. I mean, they could have used any characters they wanted to here, and this is clearly circa that period of Gotham City Sirens where Riddler shows up, because there he is here. And anyway, I just thought that was, you got a Red Lantern in the background. I was kind of surprised by that, and I wondered, when was this drawn, and why is it just coming out in this book right now? But what's fun about this for kids is you get to the end, and it's got a picture of all of those characters, just their outlines, and then it tells you who they all are. So kids can look at this and try to guess all the names of the characters. And actually, we did this with my son. Jason, of course, is 2.5. And he knew about a quarter of these, and so that was kind of fun. But then you go to the back, and it gives you all the names of them, so that you can look at it and say, which ones did I not know? So anyway, that was pretty cool. So yeah, this is still a really fun book. Next up, Ghostbusters number 14. Boy, I love where this is going. We've got this new group of Ghostbusters called the Ghost Smashers, and they're trying to compete with the Ghostbusters. They're trying to run the Ghostbusters out of town, basically, by doing a better job than them. But what they do is they just dispersed ghost energy. And they've got these proton packs that are lightweight, and they don't need traps and stuff, and they just, they claim, obliterate the ghost. But of course, they and the Ghostbusters know that they're not actually obliterating the ghost, they're just delaying the inevitable by scattering their energy, and then eventually they're going to come back, and they're going to be very angry. And what Egon says, the biggest problem with this is that not only will all of these spirits eventually inevitably come back and coalesce, but also they might not come back and be what they were before. They might mix with each other some and become these like hideous versions of what they used to be. And so, by the way, I really love this cover. It's like this OK Corral kind of standoff between Venkman and one of the Ghost Smashers, and I think that's really cool. So anyway, this whole premise is great. It's handled really well, and I really like what they're doing with what Burnham's doing with Walter Peck here. He's kind of laying the foundation for Walter Peck to maybe be a bit more of an ally for the Ghostbusters. So anyway. Great book. Check that one out. Next up is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles annual. I was so surprised when I got this because I had no idea this was going to be a $9 annual. I knew the annual was coming out, but I didn't know it was going to be trade size. And I'm not complaining about the price. I mean, like this, it's basically a trade. It's definitely, worth $9. This is kind of a big deal because it's Kevin Eastman drawing and it's Kevin Eastman's story. I think Waltz is doing some of the dialogue here, but he drew and wrote this. This is a good read. It's of course, it looks like old school Ninja Turtle stuff, and that's really the biggest draw for this, I think. It's weird reading this with the rest of the stuff because it almost would have made more sense if Eastman had just gone back and done another story in the old Ninja Turtles continuity that they were doing in the Mirage days, I think, just because it doesn't really mesh real well with what's going on right now. I mean, like, it tries to. It's definitely set within the same period, but, like, the Turtles talk a little bit differently. They're jokier in a bit of a different way, and he just keeps introducing all of these street thug characters that I really don't care about, and in this kind of artwork, and don't get me wrong, the art, this old school 80s black and white artwork is really fun to look at, but it does sometimes make it difficult to tell what characters are which. It's hard sometimes to differentiate them. And this was just kind of a street-level, like Casey Jones Raphael story, and I guess that makes sense for Eastman, but I don't know, it's certainly not a real important thing. You can definitely skip it if you're just reading the regular Ninja Turtle series. I think it's worth giving a read, like I said, just to get to see Eastman working on the book again, but I wasn't real riveted by it. I felt like it was kind of... It took longer to tell the story than it really needed to. I felt like this story could have been done in a regular-size one-shot, really. I actually think that. It's basically just an artifact plot kind of story. Well, not really an artifact. They're after some diamonds, and it's basically just Raphael and Casey Jones accidentally get themselves involved in this in the street crime where these people are kind of attacking each other over diamonds. The Foot Clan is involved, and there's kind of a fun full circle sort of thing that Eastman does at the end of this to cap it off, which is really good. But overall, I got a little bit bored by this, I have to tell you. So I don't know. It's fun for nostalgia factor, but it was really elongated in a way that it didn't need to be. So kind of a lackluster recommendation there for me on the Ninja Turtles annual. And finally, Superman Earth 1 Volume 2. I'm going to do a spoiler review on this with Eric, I think, when he gets it and finishes reading it. So I'm not going to say a whole lot about it now, just to kind of tell you my initial impression of it. It's definitely not anything like as good as the first one. The first volume of this absolutely blew me away and was totally worth the wait. This one is good, but I felt like Straczynski was groping around a little bit trying to decide what kind of story he wanted to tell. It doesn't feel as... It doesn't coalesce as well as the original. This basically is Superman trying to figure out how to live in a world that isn't real sure about him, and in some cases that wants him just gone completely. And the best thing about it is, thematically, is this idea of sometimes helping people is not as simple as just flying in and saving them from something. Sometimes there are bad people that stand in the way of that for political and financial reasons, and this is definitely that realistic kind of world where Superman isn't just welcomed with open arms. He's got to, and of course that kind of story has been told a lot, but he's got to figure out how to do the right thing while also not like taking sides in like different countries' wars and things like that, and that gets really sticky. This gives us a new version of the Parasite, I'll tell you that much, and I like this version. It's fine. I think maybe my favorite part about this is the big giant reveal that we get at the end about a character that we know. I won't tell you who, but it's definitely somebody that I was wondering what they would do within this, and goes a totally different direction. I mean, like with Earth 1, the whole idea of this is to take characters and keep kind of what made them, you know, there, but really run off and do whatever you want to with them and don't give us what we've seen before. And JMS is doing a really great job with that, especially at the end of this. He did something I never would have expected, and I was kind of jazzed about it, but more jazzed to see where he takes it later. Probably my biggest qualm with this is that I feel like the big fight is in the middle of Metropolis and is a very similar street level fight to what we had in the first one, and I kind of was expecting this book to be a little bit different. I mean, it's not that he doesn't go in some different locations, and it's not like you can't have things that are just in Metropolis. But I felt like it was, in some ways, it felt like kind of the same fight again, though it was, you know, over different reasons, of course. So that's maybe not entirely fair. Anyway, I'm going to give this book another read. I may like it a little bit more going through it a second time. Clark is dating a girl in this who's not Lois Lane, which is okay. This is really early Superman. And I don't know what I think of her right away, and I'm not sure what I think of Clark with her, but I'll talk about that more when I can actually do more spoilers with this book. So anyway, I'm definitely recommending this book. I think it's really good, but it's definitely not as good as the first one. So anyway, thanks everybody for watching the Comic Book Vault. Hope you enjoyed it, and if there's anything you'd ever like to send me to review on the Vault, you can always send things to our P.O. Box. That's Geekvolution, P.O. Box 14183, Lenexa, Kansas 66285. I'm Captain Logan, and happy reading.